Okay, so this is the big one. This is why you're here in particular. This is why I made this. This is why this process is different than what you may have tried before. So, I actually didn't plan this out necessarily, but I feel like at the time of filming this, and I'm sure it will continue for many years, it has been so, I don't even know what the word is. I am just so confused by everything. And I feel bombarded constantly. No matter where I go, no matter what app I open, it is just constant excess, constant consumerism, constant pushing, constant noise. And I felt recently just so sensitive to noise, whether it's like actual noise or just noise around, just things. And I've always felt this way. I cannot remember a time where I didn't. I grew up feeling this way. But it was kind of hard for me to articulate because I kind of thought, okay, is that how everyone feels? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just sensitive or everyone feels this way, but it's just being an adult, or it's just being growing up, or it's just high school, or it's just college. And for those of you who don't know, I went to college in New York City. I'm from Long Island, so that also was so beyond overwhelming to me. And I always thought, like, oh my God, New York City, like, that's where I want to live. That's what I want to be doing. And I realized after being in that environment that I couldn't do it. It wasn't for me. And since that point, I have been trying to cut down on noise in my life. And I just don't know sometimes how to articulate it. And, what do I do? Make a quick video about it and put it on TikTok? Or I don't know. I never figured out how to really have a conversation about it in a really grounded way where there's something to do about it. Like, there's actionable steps on how do I cut out the bullshit and the noise. And I want to resonate with people on this because it's so important to me. And as I said before, like, it feels timely just because it feels like it's so much worse now. Like, in particular, I don't know if it's just every year it gets worse, and every year the consumption just grows and grows and grows. I don't know. But this point I like to really drive home as a reason why this program means so much to me, and all the videos that I've filmed, countless hours of content, is because this means so much to me, and it really, really feels true to me in a way that I can't really describe. And I wanted a way to share this idea with people, but have it be productive. And I'm just really happy that this is all coming together, because this set of modules and this vault and this community just feels like something that I've been wanting for a while, and it's kind of all just coming together, like community and amazing people around, plus cutting down and paring down on bullshit, plus helping people feel absolutely spectacular. Like, I can't think of a better way to spend my time. So that is my rant on consumerism. And the reason why I bring that up is because the whole point of this, which I have iterated in other videos, but I want to really drive it home, it's a systematic process of steps and tools and guidance that are used at an appropriate time so that we can actually leverage their potency. We start out in stage 1, and then stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5. Each of those has a thing that we're focusing on. It has either a system within the body, or even like down to organs, down to fluids within the body. We're focusing on one thing at a time. And then once that is in order and in check, we can move on. And what's great about it is if you do feel sick one day, or you do have a digestive trigger or whatever it is, you can just go back to the module that surrounded that, do those practices, take those herbs, and get back to feeling just as good, and we can keep moving on. But you're able to jump around within it and also take it from start to finish. And within each of those steps, again, we're paring down what you're currently doing, trying to take it to the bare bones, and then slowly add in things that are simple. So you can start out simple and not spending a ton of money. And then if you get to that point and you think, okay, I want a little extra, then we can start talking about adding in all the silver bullets, all the supplements, all the tools, all the things. But we got to get you to a point where you're at baseline. We have to know what that baseline is, and then we can add and strategically add. We're not just buying things off Amazon. We're strategically adding. So that's that. The whole thing is I want to take you out of complete misery or pain or whatever you're feeling right now, and get you to a place where you're seeking adventure, you're seeking fun, you have fun. That arc takes some time, and it takes paring down, and the constant bombarding that we get from everywhere else. I don't want you to have that here. I don't want this to be another noisy chamber, an echo chamber. I want you to have space here. That is the whole goal, hopefully. If you think about a hose, I'm going to do an analogy. If you think about a hose and you're trying to water your flowers and no water is coming out, and you're like, okay, that's weird. It's just like trickling out, but it should be coming out a little bit stronger. So then you go to turn it up and it's still just trickling out. And you're like, okay, let me keep turning it up, and nothing's working, right? Like it's not coming out more just because you're turning it up. And then you look down and you realize, oh, I'm stepping on it. So there's a kink in it. So you remove your foot, and now you have like this fire hose of water coming out, and it's spewing everywhere. That is kind of the analogy for what I think we're all doing when we're trying to feel better and heal, is that we just keep turning it up. We just keep adding, even though we're not getting a difference on the other end. It's not, no more water's coming out, no more energy's coming out, your brain fog isn't going away, your pain isn't going away. It's not working, but we're still doing it. And it's because that's the society we live in, that's the culture. And it's makes perfect sense to me that you would keep trying to add things, because that's what we do. And that's the world we live in, and that's what we're all taught. So of course you're just trying to make yourself feel better, and that's totally understandable. It's frustrating to not feel good, but you have to sometimes take away the excess, clear that out first, and then we can work with what we're actually working with, and we actually have an understanding of the landscape instead of just adding, and then I don't even know what's your body, what's not your body, what is each thing doing within the ecosystem. You know, that's what we really want to understand. One of my other favorite things about the way that I lay out this program is that you'll learn which things go together at specific times, and you'll learn a lot about your body, which is fantastic. You'll learn what certain symptoms mean and which type of practices should go together in order to mitigate those symptoms before moving on to other symptoms. You'll also learn the interplay of symptoms and why this one thing might not actually be the main thing and it's coming from something else. So like with digestion, which, you know, is always a topic of conversation, especially like I live in Los Angeles, so I just feel like that is everyone's bag, is digestion. Rightfully so, because it's complicated, or it can be, and there are so many different symptoms and it changes all the time, and bloating and IBS and all the things. But a lot of digestive triggers might actually be coming from your immune system and an overtaxed immune system. So we're trying to make something better with bloating, pooping, whatever it is, with supplements, probiotics, enzymes, whatever it is. But the landscape is not right, so it's not going to work as well as it could. So we have to go in order. We have to work through the steps. The other part of this that's really important to me is the women aspect of it. So this is a women-only group. It is purposely that way. I feel like women, I don't even know where to start with all the things that are going on right now, but women are served in a lot of ways. And I do think it's being spoken about more, we're talking about menopause more and perimenopause, and we're talking about women in the workplace and whatever. But I don't think women are really truly understood in all of that. And I myself feel misunderstood a lot of times. I feel like everyone says something that they think is trying to help, and it does in some ways, but the whole picture isn't really expressed. And I a lot of times just end up feeling really frustrated with being a woman. I feel so many conflicting feelings. And I know a lot of you probably also feel this way. You feel like you want to have less stress and less on your mind and less taxing your system, but you also want a super fulfilling life and career, and you want fullness and brightness and passion within it. You can also feel like you want protection from those around you, i.e. men, but then men also make you feel really unsafe and uncomfortable at a lot of times. And there's just always a double-edged sword with being a woman. This whole thing is geared toward women, one, because I'm a woman and I understand that walk very well, but also because I do think we're still massively underserved and massively misunderstood. And I want a space where women can feel okay and good being their full selves. I want you to be able to scream. I want you to be able to be frustrated and mad and all of the emotions. I don't want it to just have to be like bright and happy, making everyone feel good around you. I want this to be a place where you can sit in the shit and feel okay and good about doing that. So I've gotten questions in the past about whether this is a TCM, traditional Chinese medicine program, or if it's Western medicine based, and it's both. So TCM has been around for thousands of years. So although we say we don't really fully understand how acupuncture works or all the things, we do. There's a lot of articles about it. But even though it seems a little bit more like esoteric or woo-woo, whatever, it has been tried and true over thousands of years, which is a lot longer than Western medicine has been alive. Now, that doesn't mean that Western medicine doesn't have beautiful tried and true things about it, but TCM is inherently lower stakes. So we're taking a lot of those lower stakes practices, tools, herbs, etc. We're starting there, and then we can incorporate higher stakes things as we go on. But we want to know, can we just do low stakes and that works? Or do we have to move on to something that's a little bit higher amplitude? So, and when I say low and high amplitude, it basically just means something that is harmless versus something that may have downstream effects or side effects. And there are high amplitude herbs, there are high amplitude practices within TCM, so they do exist, but here we're trying to use the low amplitude ones, start there with more traditional practices. This just helps with confusing the body just a little bit less. So it's taking away some of the confusion, and it's, again, letting us see where the terrain is at its base and then going from there. So we want to organize these TCM tools in a way that respects their history, but also understands all the nuances of today's world. So we're here for positive growth of the mind, the body, and the spirit. We are not trying to run away from the unknown. We're trying to embrace the unknown. We're trying to run toward it as much as possible with open arms. Complexity, which there's a lot of in the world that we live in, but complexity compounds over time. So the longer you live with complexity, especially in illness that is chronic, it does compound over time. It doesn't necessarily get better if you're just adding and adding and adding, or you're not doing anything about it. So the whole purpose here is hopefully that we can get rid of some of that complexity so that it's not compounding over time, and we can save you 10x, 20x, whatever x of time just because you started now. Another big theme of this program and this group is being comfortable in our dark parts and not having to be happy and jolly and whatever else emotion the world tells us that we constantly have to be. You don't always have to have a smile. You don't always have to be in the best mood. It is okay to sit in darkness and to be angry and to be sad and to be frustrated and to have all the emotions. And that's honestly the only way that you can really heal, is to really feel those and to really allow yourself to be those in the moment and then let them go. So that's something that we also like to hopefully give you space to feel, is the darkness of life, so that you can really see the light when you see it. So yeah, not everything has to be light and happy all the time. In fact, it never is. There's always the yin and the yang. There's always darkness. There's always light. It's always there. But within this group, it is a safe space to open up to some of the darkness that exists and express it, and hopefully feel really held when you do so, and know that that is pushing you one step closer to the best version of yourself. Finally, I wanted to mention that this is not evergreen content, so this whole process and all the modules, all the videos, even, the ones you see here, this grows with the community. So as you guys engage and ask questions, I will update the videos. I will add new ones on topics that you guys really want to hear about. So if there ever is something that you have a question about and it's maybe a little bit more in depth, and I decide, okay, yeah, let's just do a video on that, I will just add that to the program so it's there. But this is not something where you just join it, you pay for it once and then the videos never change and you just have them for like a lifetime. This is something where it evolves and changes. Thank you for listening to this one. It might have been long, so we'll see if I chop it up. But I will see you in the next vault video.